So I think he tricked me because he wanted me to read the passage. So I'll try to incorporate it. The first thing I noticed when I was reading the theme was I figured something out about Sharon in particular. Because in Sunday school, why are you on your head? In Sunday school, he always tries to cover up the deeper meaning. Whenever we ask him a question, he never gives a specific answer. He always leads us away and says, "Oh, you got to figure it out." And this parable kind of revealed to me why he always does that. And when you look at the parables that Jesus says, whenever the disciples ask him something, he never answers them directly. He always tells them a parable and says, "You have to figure it out now." And that's what Sharon always does in Sunday school. So, following Jesus' footsteps. Another thing I noticed from the parable was, directly in the parable, God addresses lazy people for the third servant. He says, "You lazy and evil servant." So I felt like that was directly talking to me because I am lazy. And I don't really do a lot in church. I'm not going to be honest. Another thing I learned was appreciating the gifts that God has given us. In the passage, God he invests into the master invests into the servants and expects return. And we need to realize that in order to use the gifts that we have, we need to appreciate them first. Okay, so my dad always says whenever I want to buy something, he says, "Oh, you don't respect the value of a dollar." He always tells me that. Once you work, you understand, you respect money. And in the same way, God is kind of teaching that to us, but in a different way. Because with the dollar as a kid, you always want to buy something like chocolate or, I don't know, gum or something. But as you grow older, you realize that you can use it for much better things, like donating to charity or giving to a homeless person. That's kind of what God's saying. He's saying, in order to use the gifts that we have, we have to appreciate them first. And the last thing I learned was we are judged by our results and contribution rather than the actual amount that we earn. So in the parable, the master gives one servant 5 and the second one 2, and they both double it. And it seems kind of wrong in a way because it says each are giving according to their ability. So it makes it seem like God favors us one way, like he gives one person preaching, one other one something like smiling. I think Ramsu had smiling or something. But if you look deeper, it says they both get the same reward at the end. It says, "You have been faithful for a few things, I'll make you ruler over many things." And he joins. So God's showing us that we may not have the same kind of role, but we still contribute as much as another does. And that reminded me of kind of like the body of Christ, where we each have a specific function. Like take the hand, for example. The pinky and the thumb aren't valued the same amount. The thumb can do so much more than, if you lost your pinky, you can still pick things up and be fine. But at the same time, there's things that pinky can do that thumb can't. And I was trying to think, what specifically, and the first thing that came to mind was when you pick your ear. And the second thing I noticed was, whenever I was typing, my pinky was always on the enter key, which is one of the most important keys on the keyboard. So whenever you type, your pinky is always on enter, and your thumb's on space. So it kind of goes together in a way. And so so God is saying, you might have a pinky, you can still do good with pinky. Even if you a fingernail, you can still do something. And another thing that touched me was when I got Barnabas for the character study, because it was kind of cool because I was talking to Matthew about this, I'm the only guy in the church now that's probably about my age, teenager. So I always felt a lot of pressure. I never wanted to do anything because I always felt like I would mess up, do bad, be a bad role model in front of Wesley or Benjamin. But Barnabas was the encourager. He was always encouraging others to do. I felt like that was good advice to me.